Hogwarts is the most iconic location in Harry Potter universe. In video games, it gave us the opportunity to explore this massive castle and get lost in its corridors. But Hogwarts didn't always look the same. With every game, it was changing and morphing its layout, while all were trying to bring us that magical feeling of being a wizard. Today, we're going to take a look at the evolution of Hogwarts in video games and explore how the change of technology translated into this iconic castle. We all remember that moment in the Philosopher's Stone when Harry is being transported across the Black Lake and we get our first reveal of Hogwarts. But this is far from the film's look. Even though the loading images featured the model from the films, both PC and PlayStation versions of the game had a completely different layout. Of course, the limitations of visual capabilities in 2001 made the introduction of this castle a blocky, pixelated experience. Nevertheless, we could now walk down long, carpeted corridors, explore Gryffindor Common Room with a cozy giant fireplace, and even fly around the Transfiguration courtyard. As we go to the Chamber of Secrets on PS2, the castle starts to take shape of a more familiar form. That cannot be said about the PC version, which kept the exterior layout reminiscent of the original map of Hogwarts, though the interior shared similar improvements. Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom now featured architecture seen in the film. The details in the corridors and the common room were bringing more depth to the castle, and the introduction of the grand staircase with move-in sections now truly made it clear that this is a magical school. And that sense carried over into the Prisoner of Azkaban with the addition of the clock tower and the wooden bridge, just like seen in Alfonso Cuarón's film. For the exterior look, the PC version has caught up with it as well, although some areas like the courtyard and wooden bridge differed in size. On the interior, we could now see the continued evolution of the grand staircase and the addition of the more familiar-looking classrooms, but for most part, the castle felt the same. And this is the last time Hogwarts saw this version of the entrance hall because there were massive changes coming ahead. But before that evolutionary leap, it took a strange detour in the Goblet of Fire. While the Great Hall and the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom featured an improvement from the previous versions, the rest of the castle grew in size and shape never seen before. As seen in this flyover shot, the castle now had not 3, not 4, but a total of 8 grand staircase towers, 6 hospital wings, 5 great halls, and an extra viaduct on the side of a mountain. But even though the layout wasn't as seen in the films, the details in the architecture have definitely seen some improvements.
I think you'll find this next creature interesting.
As the gaming engines evolved, so did the video games. And in Order of the Phoenix, we finally saw first major transformation in the visuals of the castle. And it was a triumph. Every corridor, every courtyard was recreated in great detail for its time. The grand staircase was now housing hundreds of portraits and operating in a more familiar way. The library looked smaller but had a more cohesive design than before, and Gryffindor Common Room now felt cozier than ever. And the overall intricacy of the window frames, the enormity of archways, and the complexity of the cloistered courtyards really made this version of the castle a remarkable piece of work. Even though Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince borrowed the same model of Hogwarts, yet the castle continued to evolve. With the addition of the Astronomy Tower, the Transfiguration Courtyard has transfigured its layout, and with the return of the training grounds, Hogwarts looked more complete than ever. And at this time, it seemed that this Hogwarts is the best that it can ever be. The textures around the corridor walls were finely polished, the cabinets and carpets looked like they were there for hundreds of years, and anytime you would walk down one of the connecting bridges, the view of the surrounding towers reassured you that you are a wizard, and this is your home. But the evolution of Hogwarts didn't stop there. In fact, there was something incredible brewing in its future. But in order to get there, it had to take a long, bumpy road. Despite the fact that we didn't see Hogwarts in Deathly Hallows Part 1, in Part 2 it continued to morph and expand. The viaduct was now extended directly from the courtyard, which increased immensely in size, and so did the wooden bridge, which now spanned across a massive canyon. The same can be said about the grand staircase, which was mimicking the model seen in the films, that interestingly resembled the PC version of the Prisoner of Azkaban. But perhaps the biggest change was in the overall vista of the castle, which was now in flames and ruins. And as yet another detour, the evolution went into a parallel, blocky universe in LEGO Harry Potter. While the layout was different, there were a few recognizable features reminiscent of past Harry Potter games, with cloistered courtyards, classrooms, and increased numbers of the same structures. Then the evolution took its pause, which allowed for a gradual advancement in gaming technologies. And as a result, what came in 2023 wasn't just an evolution. It was a revolution of Hogwarts and Hogwarts legacy. Every archway, every courtyard, and every inch of stone walls was recreated in a way that we've never seen before. Hogwarts Legacy celebrates this iconic castle in such a way that it not only embodies the books and the films, but it also encapsulates every other video game version of Hogwarts that came before. That can be seen in the detailed doors, spiral staircases, statues, secret rooms, or entire structures that took the shape of the specific version of the castle. The boathouse that through the years kept a smaller form in Hogwarts Legacy now took a bigger shape as seen in Deathly Hallows. The entrance hall is now a mixture of the different versions that features the same architectural details seen in other video games. The cloistered courtyard is a phenomenal replica of the previous versions with the minor additions to its decor. The viaduct now looks as epic as ever, providing an amazing look at the castle's facade that is now engulfed in shrubs and trees, giving it a more natural look. The newly designed Central Hall, which provides access to most of the classrooms, has taken a completely new shape that somehow still resonates with the design of the first Harry Potter games. The grandiose entry to the library is a state-of-the-art display of architectural beauty. Inside, you can find both narrow and open spaces that once again embody different designs. While in older Harry Potter games, the herbology greenhouses were mostly shown as small, separate, narrow rooms, in Hogwarts Legacy it is now featured as its own separate biome under one glass dome, while still including separate structures inside. Transfiguration Courtyard was, by nature, changing its layout from game to game, and here too, it took new, highly detailed shape. Same thing goes for the classrooms like potions and charms. They took new, exceptionally decorative forms, while retaining their core elements. One of the most fascinating additions to this castle was the inclusion of all of the 4 common rooms. Each has been done in its own unique architecture and style, complementing the house's corresponding elements. Hufflepuff, situated in the basements near the kitchens, carries its earthy tone with yellow and brown colors and usage of lots of wood in the design. Ravenclaw, nestled in a high tower, really emphasizes its airy nature with predominantly light blue tones. Slytherin, located in the dungeons and partially underneath the Black Lake, has greatly highlighted its naval theme, with a waterfall and stream running through the dormitory and overall having a very cool tone to it. And Gryffindor, located in the tower facing the owlery, truly embodies its correlation to the element of fire, with red-colored tapestries on the walls, giant fireplace, and overall having a warm, cozy vibe. And it's absolutely incredible how now we can look at the transformation of the Gryffindor Common Room through the years. It did take a more circular shape like seen in the first Harry Potter games, but the biggest step away from the previous version was probably with the grand staircase. However, in its circular shape, it now feels even more sentient than before, with stone steps appearing right underneath your feet. When it comes to the new additions, the back garden and the training grounds is yet another great example. The Owlery has seen a redesign too, but what is interesting is that the Hagrid's hut remained almost unchanged. And the same thing can be said about the wooden bridge and the clock tower. Their evolution through the ages is so satisfying to observe. And the castle didn't only take its wholesome shape and size, but it started to breathe and live on its own. And it is absolutely fascinating to see how the defense against the dark arts classroom remained almost unchanged throughout the years. The same thing can be said for the Great Hall, which now can feature a stroll through the ages. It truly serves as a great showcase of the evolution of Hogwarts. But the evolution doesn't end here. In Harry Potter Magic Awakened, the castle took a completely different turn when it comes to its style. Here, it seems as though Hogwarts isn't made of stone and wood, but of paper, which looks absolutely beautiful. But even this new creative version still embodies the familiar shape. It takes well-known rooms and locations and interprets them in a new, unique way. And that is what will inevitably continue to happen. Just like with every new headmaster, Hogwarts changes its form and character, so will each and every new game bring something different and exciting to this iconic castle. Be it Hogwarts Legacy sequel or other new Harry Potter games, as long as it gives us that magical feeling of being a wizard, living in these hallowed walls, I'm only excited to see where the evolution of Hogwarts will take us next. Thank you everyone for making it all the way back to the end of the video. This was so much fun making this. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more of this content, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I try to post every week. And if you have any suggestions for comparison videos, I take requests in the comments. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.